Willie Weir.
Considering what's preceded me, I think I need to mention that this is a true story. I met Kat Mariner at Seattle's Aurora Highland Ice Skating Arena at a Christmas party in 1995, and we fell for each other, both romantically and physically. We were really, really horrible skaters. I was an avid bicycle traveler with no interest in a long-term relationship, but I was dazzled on the ice and soon truly smitten. There was a glitch, though. I had already planned a bicycle journey through the Balkans and had committed to writing commentaries for public radio station KUOW, as I had the previous year on a bike journey in South Africa. So, 4 months into a new relationship, I was leaving on a 5-month journey. I hadn't even considered asking Kat to join me. She had never toured by bicycle, and I was heading into some pretty high-risk territory. I waved goodbye to Kissy Girl, as my nephew then called her, boarded the plane and thought, you idiot! You are going to regret going on this trip. And I did. From the moment I arrived in Budapest, I was pedaling through this romantic city, completely depressed. A couple of weeks later, I got a surprise phone call in Ljubljana, the capital city of Slovenia. It was Kat. Not only did she miss me, but she wished she could be on the bicycle journey as well. I told her that this wasn't a decision to be made on the fly. Well, why don't you take some time to really think this thing through, and I'll call you in a couple of weeks and see if you still feel the same way. Maybe we can work something out. I hung up the phone and immediately regretted the whole conversation. Are you insane? I mean, a beautiful woman you are crazy about just offered to quit her job and join you on a bicycle journey, and you told her to take some time to think about it? Willie Weir, international traveler, commentator, bachelor for life. A few days later, while pedaling along the border of Italy, I couldn't help but think, yeah, she's gonna think it all over, all right, and dump the bike guy. I had to call her back. But long-distance calls from Croatia were insanely expensive back then, and so I crossed the border into Italy, where the phone rates were much cheaper. I tried to use my calling card at the first payphone and I could find, but I discovered I needed a local coin to initiate the call. I exchanged $5 and plunked a 500 lira coin into the slot. Kat didn't answer. Her machine did. Panic ensued. Hi, it's me. Willie, remember me? Oh God. Okay, I can't believe I told you to think about it, but what I meant to say was, yes, please come and join me if you're not already dating some wealthy software engineer. And that was a joke, sort of. Talk with you, beep. The coin dropped into the return slot, along with my chances. 48 hours of internal turmoil later, I again crossed the border into Italy, and using the same coin, I dialed her number. She answered. She said yes. We'd meet back in Budapest in 3 weeks. I was ecstatic and horrified at the same time. Immediately doubt set in. What are you doing? She's never been on a bike trip. She's going to quit her job and in 3 days into this trip, she's going to quit you. 3 weeks later, I met her at the airport. At that time, she had quit her job, given up her apartment, put her belongings in storage, and with the help of a couple of my friends, retrofitted my old bike for touring. The first time she rode a bike with loaded panniers was from the airport into Budapest. That's adventurous. In those 3 weeks, while cycling through Bosnia, I had decided to ask her to marry me. And I did. On the banks of the Danube, with Budapest's royal castle glowing in the background. When my brain confirmed that she had indeed said yes, I handed her the 500 lira coin. I don't have the money for an engagement ring, and diamonds aren't really my thing anyway. This is the coin that I used to call you, to ask you to come and join me. It's the same one I used to hear your answer. Her smile and the tears in her eyes told me that my frugal token was more than acceptable. She put it in a small homemade cloth bag, along with her passport for safekeeping. The next 3 months were a roller coaster, both on and off the bikes. This was not your bed and breakfast tour. This was the back roads of Romania, Bulgaria, and Macedonia. Voracious mosquitoes and black flies, and nights in a small tent in cornfields with thunderstorms, intestinal maladies and saddle sores, mountain passes on dirt and gravel roads. I know that each of us swore dozens of times that we'd made a mistake. This just wasn't going to work out. But there were also wondrous sunsets, immense fields of sunflowers, local villages who took us in like family, and effortless descents coasting through the beauty of the I'll go with that next. And effortless descents coasting through the beauty of the Carpathian Mountains. After 3 months, we had been through 10 years worth of relational trials and reconciliation. Our relationship had been tested daily and only grew stronger. By the time we crossed over the border into Albania, we were travel tested and secure. Then, on a lonely stretch of highway through the mountains, a jolt of harsh reality. 3 men, a knife and clubs, screams and panic and fear, soul-wrenching fear. It was 90 seconds at most. We found ourselves in the middle of the road, hugging each other, bruised and bloody, victims of highway robbery. They hadn't taken our bikes, but had grabbed valuables, cameras, a tape recorder, our passports. Kat gasped. The coin. My coin. It was in the pouch with my passport. But what did it matter? We were alive. Some locals who heard the commotion hiked up to the road from their village. They helped drag our bikes to the side of the road and gathered some of our things that had been strewn about. We sat dazed, holding each other, trying to process what had just happened. An old woman tapped Kat on the shoulder and held out her hand. It was a cloth pouch. The robbers had ripped it open and grabbed Kat's passport. It was empty, except for a single 500 lira coin glistening in the midday sun. With the help of family we'd met in the nearby town of Kukas, we got a ride to the capital city of Tirana to get new passports. When we asked the woman at the U.S. Embassy what we needed to do, she replied, "I don't know." Americans don't travel in Albania. There would be a wait. After going through an experience like that, our initial reaction was just to get the hell out and go home. But there was a realization that if our journey ended there, we might never travel again. So, we sat on the edge of our bed in our hotel room and we told each other stories of our travels for hours. With each story, the weight of the robbery grew lighter. And the next morning, we decided to continue our journey. I am not going to even try to pretend that it was easy. The first night we pitched our tent, we were both shaking with fear. But each day got a little easier. And finally, we crossed the border into Greece and some well-earned beach time. And then it was time to go back to Seattle to plan a wedding and future travels. 28 years later, Kat still has that coin on a chain. Sometimes she lets me wear it. A worthless coin that represents a valuable life of adventure, love, and devotion. I love you, Cat Mariner.